As funny as this might sound, please, this is very, very important. If you know that your partner is one that picks offense at the use of ambiguous words or unclear words, like, okay, for instance, you're having a conversation with your partner, and then you say, I think you're being bitchy or you're being insensitive. Humans are wired in such a way that we can't do without talking. We solely depend on talking. We need to express ourselves, we need to express our emotions, we need to express ideas, we need to communicate in our day to day human relationship. Hello, everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Diamondmum here. Today, I'll be discussing communication, but not just communication, effective communication and comprehension. I know this topic, communication, has been so overflowed that in any relationship you are in, either boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife relationship, you basically hear every time communication is key. You need to communicate, you need to discuss, this, and we have so many things to discuss. We basically discuss about childbearing, how many children you want to have, how you would raise your children. We go into our relationships having in the front of our head that communication is the most important element to the success of this relationship. But we often forget that it's not just communication, but having a successful and effective communication. By effective communication, I mean less talking and more listening, less talking and more comprehension, less talking and more understanding. The main focus should be on having an effective communication. Every time you and your partner sit down to have a heart-to-heart conversation, the main goal should be on solution-based and not problem-focused. You should be focused on getting the solution and not more on conveying the problem. Most times we actually over communicate and sometimes we under communicate. We over communicate by dwelling more on the little things that do not really matter, and then we under communicate by overlooking the things that actually matter. You know, it's when you start to over communicate those little things that your partner tag you as being a nag. You often hear, oh, you're nagging. When did you start nagging? Before I got married to you, men nag, women nag. Before I got married to you, you weren't like this. You would basically have a conversation and move on. But since we got married, this little thing, can't you overlook? And then for you, the person being termed the nag, you actually have something that's okay. I actually nag. If I was to accept that I nag, I actually nag because I've not gotten a solution to what I want. When we communicate wrongly, we actually achieve nothing. And I believe before every conversation or communication, we usually have something in mind that, okay, I want this, I need this to be done, I want this to be solved. Now, we usually have a problem and need a solution, but we cannot get this solution if we do not know how to communicate. Now, there are some things to actually consider before having a conversation, and these things would help us to have an effective communication that would fetch us our desired solution. The first thing to do, you know your partner. You know your partner better, and you know when he or she is likely to be in a good mood. You know the time that you can communicate, that you can talk with this person. Now, I didn't use talk to, I used talk with. You know the time that you can talk with this person and the person will listen, the person will understand you. And then you know the time that if you talk for 24 hours, the person would not listen. You need to know the best time and the best mode to be able to communicate certain things to your partner. Also closely related to this is for you to know the best time. I mean by time of the day to communicate. I often hear most couples say it's best to communicate at night when you're on the bed, you're about to sleep. Everybody's head has calmed down, and therefore it will be best for you to raise up issues. But I think that's the wrong time to communicate. That's actually the wrong time to communicate, because there are some issues that you would like to discuss, very serious issues, and then when you bring up this issue, if your partner is the kind of person that usually think things so deeply, that might deprive your partner of sleep that night. There are some people that don't sleep, but their partners don't know, because you actually bring up a conversation that, okay, I believe he's in a good mood, okay, will be able to listen to me, and you start talking, expressing yourself. Quite all right, your partner might flow along, but then after everything, okay, this is okay, we've agreed, you go to sleep. Your partner is there thinking about everything that you've said, and might not be able to sleep. Even if the person eventually sleeps, the sleep will not really go down well. Now, I believe apart from night, we have times, better times during the day to communicate effectively, when the person's mind is actually active, to be able to comprehend, because communication is not just about talking, talking, talking. It has to do with more of understanding. What am I saying? As I'm talking to you, are you decoding what I'm saying? You're being silent, okay? You're listening to me. You need to decode. So imagine me talking. Maybe I want to communicate with my partner in the night, and then my partner is actually tired, okay, but just trying to keep up an active face, but the partner's brain has locked, like the partner's brain has actually gone off. You end up talking, 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 and then the next day, that thing that you said will still happen, because your partner did not understand. Your partner was not able to comprehend. So I would actually suggest choosing a better time in the day, a time when you and your partner will both be active, and then you have your time alone, and then you'll be able to discuss, and I believe you get the solution you need. When communicating with your partner, so many things come to play, like your facial expression, your body language, your choice of words, and so on. You need to communicate politely, of course. Therefore, you don't need to put on an already defensive appearance, an already defensive attitude, or an authoritative tone. Or then, okay, sometimes you might be angry and then you can't control yourself, but still, in your anger, you need to be able to decide to take control of your emotions, to be able to be in charge, because everything that you want to say, it's for a solution. You want this to be done, you don't want this to continue to go on. That's why you're angry. But if you let your emotion get the better part of you, you end up not achieving anything. So I believe you need to take control, to take charge, and you need to think very well before you talk. Choose your words, form your thoughts. From your thoughts, your words come out. You need to think things through. Okay, this has been going on. Okay, this has been continuously going on in our relationship. Like, we basically talk about it every month. Don't you think you should go back and then think of a better way to actually present your point? There are some people, both men and women, that, okay, you want to talk to me, you want to communicate with me, and then you're shouting, you're raising your voice, you're using an aggressive tone, your facial appearance shows it all. That, okay, see, if you like, talk from now to tomorrow. They will just tell you, okay, 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 but nothing. It will just be like noise to them, like as if you're just, okay, just continue going or go. They will tell you okay, or they will not argue with you. They'll tell you okay, but then you've not gotten anything. So you actually need to take control of yourself, to take charge of your words and your thoughts, and then use it properly. It takes two to have a good and effective communication: the speaker and the listener. For the listener, you need to listen with an open mind. Okay, your partner calls you, please, I would like us to have a heart-to-heart conversation, and already in your mind you're like, what does this person want to say now? Okay, like you're already putting on a defensive attitude, even though you will not voice it out. Of course, you have to be silent for your partner to talk with you. And then, but then you already have a defensive mind. In fact, you are ready to respond. You are not actually seated down to listen, but you're seated down to respond in case the person wants to start saying this, I did this, I did that. No. To have an effective communication, you need to be open-minded. You need to actually sit down and then listen, try to comprehend. Okay, my partner is saying this, if I get you correctly, this is what you mean, this is what you mean. And then you try to comprehend better, to understand, to make sure that you're not misunderstanding anything or you're not misquoting your partner. Because when you start to misunderstand your partner, there is no way you can have an effective communication. There is no way you can get a solution to what you want to solve. So you need to be open-minded. As funny as this might sound, please, this is very, very important. If you know that your partner is one that picks offense at the use of ambiguous words or unclear words, like, okay, for instance, you're having a conversation with your partner, and then you say, I think you're being bitchy or you're being insensitive. There are some people, normally, we know the meaning of being bitchy and we know what insensitive means. But then, at that conversation period, that communication environment, your partner might decode this to be, I'm being bitchy, you're calling me a bitch. That's the end of the conversation. It will turn to quarrel. Or your partner might interpret the use of insensitive as I don't have sense. But normally the person knows that insensitive means not being aware of the other person's emotion. But then at that particular point in time, your partner might think that you're saying that he doesn't have sense or she doesn't have sense, and then your communication has ended. It will turn to quarrel. So for you to have an effective communication, you need to be mindful of the type of words you use. That is why you need to think and form your words clearly. Calm down. You know your partner, okay, he or she is the type that pick offense at the use of some foul languages, and then you're now using the F word. If you use those words, if you use those angry words or those unclear words, the angry mind of your partner will misunderstand it, and then that will be the end of the communication. No problem solved. The problem still continues. Tomorrow you will still come and sit and have the same conversation. If you still use the same method, you will still come back next tomorrow until you actually think things through. Take a step back and then follow the right way, follow the right method. When you call your partner to have a conversation with you, you need to have the mindset of being solution focused. Don't concentrate on the problem. Okay, you're having issues with how we actually share, how we contribute financially in this relationship. Okay, and then in your mind, everything is, I've been contributing too much, I've been doing this, it's unfair, it's injustice, it's this and that. You will not communicate properly because your mind is filled with anger. Your mind is still clouded with the problem, and you would not prefer any solution. For you to effectively communicate with your partner and to achieve that solution that you need to actually have it in your mind that, okay, I want a solution. And then everything that you say in the course of that conversation should be based around getting a solution and not centered around the problem. I'm angry, it's unfair, it's this, and that comes to the attitude, to the mood. You need to be polite when communicating. Nobody likes to be talked to like a kid. You're both partners in the relationship. Nobody is the younger brother or the younger sister. Nobody is the maid and nobody is the master. You are both partners. So both of you require some level of respect from each other. So if you respect your partner by communicating politely, by communicating respectfully, your partner will also respect you by calming down to listen and then understand what you're trying to say. This issue of effective communication is not only important in our relationships, but even in our workplace, in our day-to-day encounters with people. If you don't communicate well with people, you might land yourself into trouble, you might get misunderstood, and you might create enemies where there was meant to be none. So you need to actually cultivate the habit of learning how to communicate effectively, of learning how to take control of your words, of your thoughts, because until you do so, you continue to create problems. Communication cannot be overemphasized. In fact, every relationship depends on it. The success of every relationship depends on it. These divorces, breakups here and there, it started from miscommunication, misunderstanding. You don't understand me. We are not on the same level. We are not compatible. Why? Because if I'm communicating on level A, you are comprehending me on the level Z. It cannot work. So effective communication is the basis of every successful relationship. That brings me to the end of this video. Please, if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, like and share, and please comment below. If you like content like this, let me know so I can bring in more. Thank you and bye for now.